Hello everyone, and thank you for joining today's What's New with Ad Exchange training. I'm your Ad Ex trainer, Asha Blendrin. Today, we are lucky enough to have 4 product specialists on the call today. That's Alex, Marielle, Ben, and Krish, who will be walking us through the latest updates for the month. Here's what we have on the agenda today. We'll be kicking things off with Ben, who will be walking us through features that will enable new inventory opportunities. Then we'll be passing over to Alex, Marielle, and Krish, who will be walking us through simplifying workflows and improving performance. As always, we'll have a live Q&A, but feel free to submit all your questions via the Q&A panel towards the left-hand navigation. So without further ado, let's hand over to Ben, who will be walking us through the first section.
Hi guys, this is Ben Clark, and I'm a commercialization lead over here on the AdX buy side. And I'm going to start out by talking to you about DFP First Look. DFP First Look is a beta feature for DFP publishers that has the effect of providing buyers on AdX with access to more high-quality inventory. So First Look allows a publisher to easily open up all or most of their inventory to select AdX buyers on a first look basis, including ahead of sponsorships and reservations. Publishers select which AdX buyers they open this inventory to and set a first look specific price floor that the buyers must beat in order to win that impression. Because the tool is designed to open up all or most of the publisher inventory, the expectation is that it will be high quality inventory, but not necessarily a material different than other inventory in the open auction. There's also no specific bid signal for First Look, so buyers will mostly notice this change through more of inventory being available on the open auction. All right, next I'm going to talk a little bit about Programmatic Guaranteed. With Programmatic Guaranteed, or as we call it PG, the buyer and publisher agree on a guaranteed deal where the publisher will make a certain number of impressions available from a certain segment of their inventory, and the buyer will bid a fixed CPM on 100% of the impressions that the publisher makes available. We're currently in alpha with this feature with DBM and all of our top DFP publishers. We see publishers making net new premium inventory available via Programmatic Guarantees deals, and we've seen 10 to 20 times the open auction CPMs and 3 to 4 times PA or PD CPMs on PG so far. Buyers will be able to discover PG opportunities and create new PG deals through the AdX Marketplace. Bidding is going to be done through the normal RTB channels. We will specify in the bid request that the deal type is PG, and will also allow the buyer to see reporting broken out for just PG as a deal type in the query tool. The buyer will need to submit their creatives for a PG deal ahead of time via the Creative REST API and associate their creative ID with a deal ID. PG callouts will bypass pre-targeting, selective callouts, and hosted match filters. So what's the value of Programmatic Guaranteed? Right now, the value is at workflow efficiency. So discovery, negotiation, and deal creation will be available in the Marketplace UI and API, so the buyer can easily find publishers, negotiate, and strike programmatic deals. For creative trafficking, the existing AdX Creative REST API facilitates the pre-submission of creatives for review and assignment to ensure deal delivery. The bidding is based in RTB, so programmatic deals manifest as deal IDs over RTB, to which the buyer must bid on 100% of callouts at the negotiated CPM. There's also consistent reporting tools and billing that will provide consistent troubleshooting and reporting tools in the existing query tool and RTB breakout, including your guaranteed deals and open auction PD and PA. Comparing the traditional reservation buying, some publishers and media buyers collectively reduce operational workload down from 40 steps to 4. So there's a lot of gains in operational efficiency. We're also hoping to build on value adds in addition to that operational efficiency in future releases, the first of which is going to be audience guarantees. So some integration requirements here. There is a RTB protocol update. So the RTB callouts are going to have the PG deal ID and deal type programmatic guaranteed equals 3. There's a requirement that the DSP bids on 100% of bid callouts at a negotiated CPM. That's going to be passed in the fixed CPM micros. You have to pre-target all guaranteed inventory. So we are required that you create a separate ad group matching all PG traffics. And then PG callouts bypass pre-targeting, selective callout, and host and match filters. You also have to associate all creative IDs with a deal ID via the existing REST API. So you associate a deal using the add deal call. Deals will pause unless at least one valid approved creative per required size is present. And your account team will pass on all the full integration details should you be interested in integrating with Programmatic Guaranteed. And that's all for me.
Great, thanks so much, Ben. Now we'll be handing over to Alex, who'll be walking us through the next section.
So I'm Al Phillips. I'm the mobile commercialization specialist here in EMEA. I'm going to talk to you briefly about cross-screen native ads. So recently, AdX has launched native ads across all environments to AdX buyers. This means that AdX buyers will start getting access to native inventory from AdX pubs across mobile app, mobile web, and desktop. Previously, it was just for mobile app. The native specs are the same for a native impression, whether it's app, mobile web, or desktop, although most, if not nearly all, of the mobile web and desktop inventory for native will be focused on the content template and not the app install template. In order to make sure you receive the native inventory for mobile app, buyers need to ensure their pre-targeting settings include my mobile app inventory, and the same goes for mobile web and for desktop. So in order to receive the native mobile web inventory, you need to ensure that pre-targeting settings include mobile web. As a reminder, a native ad is any ad that adopts the characteristics, either visual, content, or interaction, of the surrounding content and/or the app content. Native ads are proven to provide a better user experience by adopting the look and feel of the publisher content. The reason we've invested in native is because when done well, native ads are better than banner ads. This is especially true for mobile, but moving beyond mobile, we're seeing more and more cross-platform buying, and native provides the market with an opportunity to seamlessly run cross-platform campaigns. If you read the trades, you will have noticed that many of the leaders in the digital space are going strictly native or have already done so. Snapchat is a great example of that. Additionally, for native ads tend to be better perceived across the ecosystem for users, publishers, and advertisers as well. For users, native offers a better user experience through integrating with the look and feel of the content that the user is consuming. Studies have shown that that consumers view native ads 52% more frequently than regular banner ads. For buyers, native increases the engagement rates and provides a better canvas for storytelling. Google's native spec is also compatible with other exchanges, making it easier to integrate. And then for publishers, native actually provides better CPMs due to the higher engagement, and they also have greater flexibility and control into how the ads are rendered in their own content. Demand partners taking advantage of our native solution have seen solid performance so far, with CTRs seriously exceeding those of comparable non-native inventory, up to 4 times greater. AdX has chosen to adopt the emerging standard for its native spec, so it'll work across other exchanges as well, to make it easy for buyers to develop for native across multiple partners. All the specifics on how to implement the AdX native solution can be found on our developer site, including the instructions for how to implement using OpenRTB. Continuing on the native theme, I'm also going to talk to you about a recent launch related to ad choices support for native ads. So for banner ads, third parties typically build an ad choices or an opt-out icon into the creative itself. Obviously, native ads are different in that they're component-based. The third parties don't actually have the HTML to which they can append the ad choices icon. So instead of that, AdX has provided a programmatic way for third-party buyers to designate a privacy or opt-out page in the bid response. Google will render the opt-out and setting the click-through to the desired page. This represents an improvement to the user privacy by allowing third-party native ads to provide user transparency and choice. So if there are no questions on native, which there aren't, we'll move on to pre-targeting by user identifiers. So AdX is adding the ability for buyers to pre-target only inventory which contains a user identifier. So many bidders, particularly remarketers, but not just remarketers, will only ever bid on a request if the request includes a user identifier. And by user identifier, I mean a cookie, an IDFA, or an Android advertising ID. AdX correctly respects user preferences by withholding these IDs for users who have specifically opted out of interest-based advertising, but sending these requests at all to bidders that ignore them, one, wastes QPS resources for the bidder, and two, unnecessarily sends user data to third parties that do not need it. As a result, we launched the ability for bidders to configure pre-targeting to only receive requests when there is actually a user ID present, helping QPS-constrained bidders to only receive queries of interest. And with that, we'll hand over to Marielle, who's going to talk about portrait video.
I'm Marielle Minlin. I am the Global Commercialization Lead for AdX Video. We have a couple of exciting video launches to review with you today. And I'll start with portrait video. So what is portrait video? It is the ability to deliver full screen vertical creatives. This is specifically for mobile app video interstitials. And what this does is that now buyers can send back a video that is specifically built to be viewed full screen in a vertical position. So what's important to know is that at the time of the ad call out, AdX detects whether the phone is being held vertically or horizontally. And then based on that, it passes the information via the signal screen orientation. So by looking at this screen orientation signal, in addition to the placement signal, which declares whether it's an interstitial creative, the bidder can decide if they want to bid with a creative that was designed to be watched when the phone is held vertically. It is important to note that the buyer should only bid with the appropriate creative. If they include both a horizontal creative and a portrait one in the same VAST response, AdX will just pick one at random, so please reply with the appropriate creative. However, the exciting news is that from looking at some of our internal data, we estimate an uplift of 20 to 40% in click-through rate and CPA when the video ad is shown in the same orientation as the phone. Any questions about portrait video? Okay. Then we'll move along to buying on connected TV. So this is an exciting theme where you're hearing a lot about. As content and devices become more fragmented, brands are increasingly challenged to reach their audiences with TV quality experiences. So we're committed to delivering ad space against TV content on all devices. The issue is, though, what are these devices? It's a pretty confusing landscape out there right now. You may have heard of terms such as programmatic TV, connected TV, OTT. All of this can be very confusing. So for today, we're going to focus on the features that AdX has specifically for connected TV. So what is that? Connected TV is a TV set which is connected to the internet, either natively, so think like a smart TV, or via an external device. For example, digital media players, gaming consoles, your Roku, your Apple TV, etc. You can. What's exciting is that you can buy connected TV inventory on AdX today. The main signal to read is the device type signal, which will say whether the ad slot is on a desktop, a mobile phone, a tablet, or a connected TV. In order to do audience targeting and frequency capping, you must read the advertising ID signal. Each connected TV device unfortunately has their own ID. So we are currently rolling out support for each one. Today we support Roku's ID, which is the RIDA, the Apple TV ID, and the Android TV ID. And support for Chromecast and Xbox are coming in the second half of 2016. It is important to note that connected TVs accept vast creatives, and they also usually require a high quality MP4. Unfortunately, VPaid creatives are not accepted on connected TVs, which is important to note. It's also important to remember that when buying connected TV inventory, we recommend making some adjustments to your targeting and optimization. Usually setups that were originally meant for desktop or mobile won't necessarily work properly with connected TVs. So for example, if you're targeting or optimized towards click-through rate or CPC, that will unfortunately filter out all of our connected TV inventory, since you cannot click a creative that is viewed on a TV screen. And there's some other examples such as player size. There's no way to really measure player size on a connected TV, so if you're optimized towards that, you'll unfortunately filter out all of the callouts. Same for slot visibility. It will always return no detection for connected TVs. And in terms of GRP, there is some uncertainty around who can measure what and what coverage there is. So it's important to note all of these and really take into consideration when you're setting up your optimization to bid on this type of inventory. Which leads nicely into the next topic, which is viewability for connected TV. So previously, we were seeing that a lot of buyers were unknowingly filtering out all of our connected TV inventory, since they were optimizing towards specific viewability. However, there's no real way to measure viewability of connected TV inventory, but as one can imagine, it's being viewed on your TV screen, so it's viewable. It's just as viewable as any other TV watching. So we now pass an approximate value of 90% for connected TV viewability in the existing viewability signal. So what does that mean for you? Basically, campaigns trafficked on bidders and targeted to viewability thresholds will now be able to spend on AdX on this inventory when they were previously being filtered out. No additional work is required. It's just something to be aware of when you're setting up your optimization. Don't see any questions for any of the TV stuff, so I will move along to the next topic, which is the non-vast video filtering. So previously, AdX was not able to detect the use of video ads on mobile inventory if VAST was not used. So what that means is that buyers were able to send back MRAID creatives with videos, even if the ad slot didn't necessarily specify that it allows for video. What does that mean for buyers today? If an ad slot does not specify that it allows video, then, sorry, let me clarify. If an ad slot specifies that the video is accepted, then a buyer can send back an MRAID creative with video. If the ad slot says that video is not allowed, and a buyer sends back a bid request or bid response with a video, it will get filtered and it will get logged as unexpected field video URL. This is really to protect the publishers and respect their wishes for what they want to accept. It also will allow for buyers to better accurately target which placements they should be sending video back for. So it's really a win-win on both sides.
Hello everyone, my name is Krish Sundaresan. I'm a product manager on DFP and AdX. And I primarily focus on our programmatic direct offering. So there are a few things that have launched or in the process of launching around the deals workflow and marketplace that I wanted to share with you today. The first one is this notion of what we call discoverable private auctions. So today, private auctions provide a simple way for a publisher to be able to carve out a segment of their inventory and make it available to a subset of their buyers at pre-negotiated floor prices For buyers, this gets access to inventory that's at a favorable floor price, then gets access to inventory that's easily described by a deal ID. One of the problems that we have heard consistently from our publishers, especially, is that they never really know which buyers they should be including or inviting to their private auctions. At the same time, we also hear a ton of demand from our buyers that there is a demand for certain kinds of inventory or certain kind of publishers that they're not aware of as having private auctions. To solve for this, we are now allowing our publishers to make their private auctions visible to all buyers in the marketplace. Buyers can now view both private auctions that they are explicitly invited to, like always, but also view private auctions that match a given search criteria in the marketplace. And if the description and if the publisher of that particular private auction interests you, then with a single click of a button, you can then request the publisher to effectively invite you and add you to that private auction. Our hope with this feature is that this allows you as buyers to get greater access to more premium supply of inventory via private auctions. We also recently launched a major revamp of the marketplace workflow. So the marketplace today, or historically, has been a place where you come in, do a search, and we return to you the list of publishers' packages of inventory that matches your search criteria. But more often than not, we see that the searches that a given buyer doesn't always necessarily have a pre-packaged inventory that a publisher has created. Also, there are many cases where publishers don't know what's the right way to package their inventory to best attract buyer demand. So to solve for this problem, with this new launch, when you go into the marketplace and do a search, we will return to you all publishers with matching inventory, not just packages. Meaning, when you say search for United States in-stream video, we will effectively use Google's own internal forecasting and data analytics platforms to be able to detect and identify which publishers have inventory with the United States user population where the content type is video, and be able to surface all those publishers to you. Now, some of these publishers will have packages of inventory specifically created for United States and in-stream video, but there are others who may not have a specific package created. Regardless, we now give you the ability to both see, for example, in the screen, you have timing as an example of a publisher with matching inventory. There's a left-hand pane on the expanded card for time that shows the inventory summary view, which tells you the total impressions from that publisher as detected by Google that matches a given search criteria. On the right pane, you see the list of any pre-packaged products from that publisher that also matches what you're looking for. Now, the choice is really yours at this time. You can either select one of those pre-packaged products and use that as a basis to strike a deal, like you always do. Or in cases where there are no such pre-packaged products from a given publisher, or the packages don't really meet what you're looking for, you now have the option to create and send a brand new proposal to the publisher. Clicking the request proposal button, you come up to a form with a few simple fields that you can fill in with the budget, your desired start end dates, and any targeting that you wish to add to this proposal, along with a message, and send it off to the publisher. The interesting thing about this particular form is that when you go in and start typing things like the geo or the vertical or the ad sizes in that form, the top pane that shows impression volumes and uniques and the breakdown by different metrics, all those fields will update in real time so that you can now figure out what exactly does a publisher have as far as availability goes, as far as demographic breakdown goes, by just editing within this form various fields to play around with what exactly you're looking for and whether the publisher indeed has availability for what you're looking for. Our hope is to expand this form and the fields in this form to be more richer with capturing more targeting. We have started with a initial list of targeting, and would, as always, love to hear more feedback on additional targeting that you would like to provide. I would like to close this on one point, which is that a key change here is that every single search criteria that you go and type in the marketplace search UI, be it verticals, be it user geo, be it ad sizes, all of those metrics are not surfaced back to you based on what the publisher declared about their inventory, but rather it's based purely on Google's own classification detection, Google's own analytics of its own forecasting data. And our hope is that this provides you with a more neutral, with a more data-driven approach to being able to discover inventory and find the right inventory for your deals. There is a question that's come up about whether we allow discovery of native ads via this marketplace UI. Yes, we do support the ability for you to search based on native. Just go into the search bar, just start typing native. You should see a drop down that allows you to pick for the size, inventory size or inventory type as native. The other set of improvements that are coming by the way of the marketplace includes adding more filters and more search criteria to be filtered by. And all of these, again, are criteria that you can search not just on the basis of what the publisher declared, but on the basis of what we detected as Google. So one class of filters that we are now launching in the marketplace is specifically around video filters. Now, in addition to being able to just search on format as video, we are also now enabling you to search based on a few particular video dimensions. These include player sizes, VPay compatibility, whether you're looking for click-to-play type video inventory, based on video duration. And all of these are criteria that you can just go into the marketplace, go to the search box. You can either just start typing what you want, or you can select from a rich set of drop down of filters as well for you to browse through and find what you want. Our hope is that this will allow you to now be able to detect and discover video inventory that is available for you to make deals, either in the form of already prepackaged packages that might exist, or in the form of finding publishers with that inventory and having you initiate the deal making process by requesting a proposal. The next topic to talk about is around change history. Our goal with change history is to effectively allow you a form of audit that allows you to track all administration and user actions that change the effective configuration state of your ADX seat. The change history is a new place in the UI that you see along with your account settings and your user management settings in the ADX buy-side UI. Now, change history will include changes made in the marketplace, meaning proposals being created, proposals being accepted, deals starting, along with changes to other parts of the ADX buy-side configuration, including adding, removing users or clients, making changes to pre-targeting or account settings, and so on. Our hope is that this provides you a single unified place for you to be able to track and manage and view all changes that have happened against your ADX account, be it for auditing or for troubleshooting. And that's all I had. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, Krish. If anyone has any questions on anything that's presented so far, then please do submit them in via the Q&A panel towards the left-hand navigation. So while you're doing that, I'm going to pass over to Alex again, who's going to be walking us through the last set of the training, which is on improving performance.
Thanks, Asha. Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is a very exciting launch called Same Device Targeting. With Same Device Targeting, ADX enables buyers to target their mobile web audiences in the mobile app environment. So where Google is able to match a mobile web cookie to an IDFA or an Android advertising ID, ADX can replace that IDFA or Android advertising ID with the mobile web cookie, allowing the buyer to recognize the user. So this solution is fairly unique in the industry right now, so I would strongly encourage buyers to participate where possible. In terms of how same device targeting works, there are a few stages involved to get it up and running. Firstly, buyers need to be opted in to the feature itself, same device targeting. Now this can't be done by buyers themselves, so please get in touch with your account representative or technical contact to activate it in the back-end systems. Once the buyer has same device targeting enabled, for MAP impressions, AdX will check whether a match can be made between the mobile web cookie and the IDFA or Android advertising ID. In the third step, if the buyer has a hosted match table on AdX servers, the buyer can specify that only mobile cookies contained within that hosted match table will be matched. In this case, AdX will also cross-check the mobile web cookie against that match table to ensure that we don't supply mobile web cookies for users that the buyer won't recognize. In a fourth and also optional step, if the buyer has any user lists set up which contain IDFAs or Android advertising IDs, AdX will never replace those IDFAs or Android advertising IDs. This is to ensure that the buyer has the ability to target the users they already recognize in that mobile app environment. And then the final step is if all the previous steps have been satisfied, AdX will remove the IDFA or Android advertising ID value from the bid request and add in the mobile web cookie instead. Now, in order to make the best out of same device targeting, it's important to follow a couple of necessary requirements and also a couple of best practices. The first requirement is that bidders need to be able to handle mobile app callouts that contain mobile web cookies instead of IDFAs or Android advertising IDs. So we did find during testing that some bidders have logic which will not accept mobile app callouts that have mobile web cookies associated with them. If that's true for your bidder, then same device targeting will not work. Secondly, and perhaps more obvious, bidders must have a pre-targeting configuration which allows mobile app callouts to be sent to your bidder. Now, those two things are essential for same device targeting to work. However, there are a couple of additional things which can help bidders actually just make the most out of same device targeting, while they aren't actual requirements per se. The first of these is using hosted match. So hosted match greatly improves the performance of same device targeting in two different ways. Firstly, due to reduced cookie loss, there is a greater chance that the buyer will actually recognize the mobile web cookie that's sent. And secondly, if the buyer chooses, AdX will only replace the IDFA or Android advertising ID when we know you will recognize the mobile web cookie, meaning that your existing app audiences will always be targetable and will only ever provide you with a mobile web cookie that you recognize. All the bidders who have opted into same device targeting so far have seen very good success with this feature. Many of the bidders opted in attribute more than 50% of their app revenue to same device targeting, so I strongly encourage you all to give it a try. It can be switched on immediately and then can equally be switched off immediately. So if you have any more questions about it, please feel free to ask them now or reach out to your account representative or technical contact. While we wait for questions to come in, we'll move on to the next section, which is around improvements to location signals. So back in 2013, AdX launched the hyperlocal targeting signal. However, in the last couple of years, coverage has been fairly limited due to adoption on the publisher side. However, AdX has now made some changes which mean that the hyperlocal signal coverage has improved from around 5% for mobile app inventory to over 20% for mobile app and mobile web inventory. We're actually going to be making more changes as well in the next few months, and that will see hyperlocal coverage for app increase even more. So look out for those changes in the near future. Just a quick recap on how the hyperlocal signal works. So there's an area defined by the hyperlocal signal that will be close to but no smaller than 1 square kilometer at the minimum, and the size of the area will increase as the population density decreases. So this means that in densely populated cities, the center point of the hyperlocal signal is usually between 0 and 500 meters away from the user's exact location. In sparsely populated areas, the center point of the hyperlocal signal may be more than 500 meters from the user's location. Now, it's important to remember that if you have limited development resources, just optimizing for the central point is a very good proxy for a lat long signal. If you're more eager to understand the exact size of the hyperlocal box or the area, then you can also integrate with the four corners of the hyperlocal polygon, and this will help you determine the exact size of the area. So this represents a very good opportunity to target users by their location, which is obviously one of the key benefits of targeting users on their mobile phones.
Cool, thank you very much, Alex. So if anyone has any questions on anything that's been presented so far, then please do submit them in via the Q&A panel. While you do that, I can go through a couple of resources with you in case you've missed anything. So if you navigate to our Ad Exchange Help Center, then you can find all previous training webinars that we've done, and also you can find our Fundamentals and Certification course, which is a self-paced e-learning course. We also have some recommended learning paths. We have the Ad Exchange Playbook that's on there that gives you all the up-to-date information on Ad Exchange. And as I said, if you've missed anything or joined late in the webinar, then you'll find this training uploaded sometime tomorrow. So I don't think there's any more questions. So thank you very much to Ben, Marielle, Krish and Alex for presenting today. To receive a copy of this presentation, if you submit feedback to us on our trainings, or if you'd like to see anything in future trainings, you can do so via the Go link there. It's case sensitive, and also this link will be found on the DoubleClick Ad Exchange training page as well. So if you don't want to copy it from there, then you can just click it from the channel. So thanks very much for joining, everyone, and hopefully speak to you soon on another training session. Bye, everyone.